Hi, we're back with the final segment. I don't usually talk about personal problems, but I've had this real big ugly guy that is a real bully, and he keeps dumping on me because I keep getting these heart issues. Oh, we got a caller, Richard.
Oh, okay, there you go, ragging on me already before I even get started. I just want to correct a few things you said tonight.
Okay.
There is no corruption in Nye County.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was made clear of that today at the courthouse. And as my witness to this, what I'm going to say is Ray the flagman. So there's a man with some sort of credibility on this station, correct?
Correct. I said corrected.
Okay, well, Sergeant Deutsch came to us and told us that Sharon Worley had things under control out here. She was a local resident, and she knew what the Nye County residents wanted from her and how they wanted the town run, and she was doing it correctly. And then he also assured us that there wasn't too many tickets being issued in the court system, because even though the courtroom was so full down there in the courthouse today that me and Ray couldn't even get a seat. We had to stay outside. Every seat was taken inside, and it looked like 99 out of 100 were all traffic tickets. But the bike cops out here, Mr. Deutsch, assured us that are the best in the business. And they do a lot of stops where they don't issue citations. So congratulations to the boys for doing such a fine job there. And then last but not least, on that comment you made about Mrs. Lake. Mrs. Lake's TPO request was denied the second time. The first time it was on the wrong form. The second time they denied it was just a flat denial, and he would like the Nye County Sheriff's Department to open an internal investigation and interview Miss Lake without her lawyer present at this time, to which she has declined that request. So at this point, she plans on meeting with Angela Bello later on in this week, because Angela, at the district attorney meeting that you attended, said to come see me if you can't get protection, and I'll help you next week. To which she went down to the courthouse 3 or 4 times this last week and couldn't get in to see Angela. And then Friday night, Angela sent her an email saying, well, it's going to be a long weekend. I'm going to Vegas home to party. I'll be back Tuesday. Maybe I can see you Thursday in my office. So congratulations on Angela for being such a hard-working district attorney. Kudos. And that's about all I got to say, Chuck.
Richard, before you go, let me get this clear. Diane Lake was absolutely denied a protective order against a police officer.
A temporary protection order was denied the second time when it was presented to them on the right form.
Okay, and what did Judge Sullivan say?
He wants the internal affairs investigator, Mr. Klenzar, to do an interview with Lake and determine that if there's a problem between her and this supposed deputy that she had a sexual affair with that roughed her up when she shut him off.
Okay, so the judge wants the internal affairs to do an interview
first, and then it'll come back in front of him. In the meantime, there's no order of protection. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've seen a lot of protective orders and never seen that before from a judge, did we?
No, but being that the judge is, kind of related through friendship, it's kind of going to be a dirty, dirty trail when they run it down, because obviously he's protecting his own again. Oh, wait a minute, that's corruption. Somebody told me today there is none.
Exactly.
A sergeant on the force, Sergeant Deutsch, said there is no corruption here.
Yeah, I mentioned I went on that website that gives all the salaries. And the individual salaries are bad enough, but when you see the same last name over and over again, these families are getting 150 grand from the patriarch, and then their kids are getting 100 grand, and then their son-in-law, and on and on. And when you add up
like
some of these,
Publishers Clearinghouse, you just keep willing it to somebody else when you win.
yeah, when you add up the last names alone, you come up with $400,000 or $500,000 a year. And that's not, that's not their buddies or whatever. I mean, I've heard of nepotism, but that takes it to a whole new level.
Oh, Chuck, you're giving me chest pains now.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off at that, you louse.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening.
Thanks, you too. Okay, I don't know who that big ugly guy is that keeps talking about my heart, but it might be a first name of Richard. Let me throw in an article. This came out January 13th this year. FBI serves a warrant at Honolulu Prosecuting Attorney's Office. An FBI raid on the Honolulu Prosecuting Attorney's Office is the latest action in the growing corruption scandal involving the chief of police and his prosecutor wife. And it goes on to talk about on and on. The FBI is investigating some of this. Now, one of my pet peeves, having been in the business a little bit during my life, is when it comes to organized crime or government, which has become synonymous, it takes 10, 20 years to do these investigations. When it comes to the public, it's a 5-minute thing and they charge you with a crime. Ray, what you got, buddy?
I listened to Richard's call. It was excellent. He brought things out that most people don't realize what's happening out here. Also want to make mention about Kelly Jackson suing the county, suing the sheriff's department, this upstanding sheriff's department that does no wrong. So many people are being sued for sexual harassment, actual physical confrontations with male deputies that would want her to do things. It was the front page of the newspaper. I think one of Medina was one. They've got the mayor that he hasn't commented yet on the lawsuit. Rick Marshall hasn't commented. Also, we've got Jonas, Mr. and Mrs. Jonas, both work for the sheriff's department, and they're accusing the sheriff's department of similar incidents and that. This ought to be made public to the people because all we hear about is on the front page of the paper, and nobody else talks about it. And we've got to keep it in the limelight, and that's what you're doing tonight, Chuck.
Thanks.
That's why I think you should have a show every Tuesday night. I hope Vern Van Winkle recognizes the power you bring into his station through this show. And I want to thank you, and maybe you can talk about this Kelly Jackson lawsuit a little bit. Thank you very much. Keep the faith. Flagman, over and out.
All right. Thanks, Flagman. Yeah, I actually forgot to print that one. I read it over the phone to Ray. It was on the Pahrump Valley Times. It's a lawsuit. There's two lawsuits, actually, with the federal courts, and most of the lawsuits against the county end up going to the federal system. These lawsuits allege sexual harassment. They allege all kinds of things. I don't remember off the top of my head, but these women are put through the ringer. And again, the Navy, the military, and the police have such similar circumstances in their careers. And I was in the year I retired in '91, and we went through this same crap. When women started coming in the service, harassment went crazy. There were also false allegations by women against men to get back at them or whatever. There was a whole adjustment that had to be made in the conduct and the mentality of the service people, both male and female. And it was done. By the time I left in '91, we were well on our way. And it's, I think, continued where you absolutely still have harassment going on. You still have false allegations being made. But it's being worked out. And it's not going to get worked out by women tolerating this stuff or by men tolerating what in fact becomes the same issue, sexual harassment. If you're in the police force, you're there to do a job, same as the military. You're supposed to be professional. Your own physical desires or your own concepts of what men and women are supposed to be about is not even an issue. You were there to do the job on behalf of the people. That job does not involve sexual harassment. It don't involve all the things we hear about and see in this county and across the country. Police, you better start towing the line. The people are aware, and they're getting more and more aware. We're not asking you to do anything but become professionals. And if you are a professional cop, you better start waking up that they're going to grind you up. You're going to go down with the rest of these corrupt people. So make a stand like these officers are doing. Again, don't tolerate the abuse. Whether you're a police officer or you're a citizen, we're going to only get run over if we tolerate it. So let's keep going. Bring it. Bring the lawsuits. Bring the awareness to shows like this. Tune in Thursday for the Dave Champion Show. I don't agree with many things Dave talks about, but at least he's not politically correct. And many of the things he brings up, I know for a fact, need to be brought up. So watch Thursday, same time frame, 6 to 7. We've got to keep this going. Like Ray said, we've got to keep it in front of the people's minds. The newspapers have to continue to report these things. Hopefully we'll get to the point where citizens are investigating these things. They formed a commission, the county commissions, Sheriff Worley, when she was running, everybody was behind this citizen review group that was going to take complaints against the police, and depending on the complaint and on the union and all this stuff, they were going to, first they were going to get trained, and then they were going to be a source for citizen complaints. They haven't even gone through the training. They've just sat there. No one's organized it. And even if they organized it, their hands would be tied by the union, the police union. When I heard the police had a union, I almost dropped over. I can't imagine the military having a union. But there again, the military didn't make a fraction of what the police are making. Maybe we should have had a union. Maybe we should have decided to not pick up our arms until we received so much money from the citizens. Okay, the meeting time. It's going to be at the library. It's regarding the local issues, whatever issue you have. Dwight, Lilly, and others are forming it. It's going to be Saturday, the 4th of February, from 1:30 to 4:30 at the library. Now, from 10 to noon usually, our district attorney, Angela Bello, and 2 commissioners, along with every once in a while other people show up from the government, and they have coffee and donuts. Normally it's at the Rudd Center. Again, that's the first Saturday of every month, usually begins at 10 o'clock and lasts maybe till noon at the Rudd Center. Sometimes they had it once in Artesia. I understand the DA is going to have one up in Tonopah. So again, last time there was like 30 people that showed up. And again, it's a way to address grievances to the people that need to be aware of this, whether they want to or not. And I have total respect for Angela Bello to sit there and take some of this. Okay, folks, we got to go to, we're going to go now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you the third Tuesday of every month.